Everyone, welcome back to our insurance blog. Hopefully you found the last topic very interesting. Today's topic, and what I'm going to do with these blogs is really basically just bring up questions that we hear on a day-to-day basis from our clients, things that come up in the day-to-day world of servicing our clients. So a question that we get a lot is, what is uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage? And why is that coverage actually important? This is a very important coverage. Some of the largest claims we've actually had in our agency have come from this particular coverage. And basically what those coverages typically do is they typically mirror the basic coverages you have on your actual policy. So if you have, and I don't want to get all technical with you, but say you have $250,000 per occurrence, $500,000 per claim, of liability insurance. Typically, your uninsured and underinsured motorist limits will match those limits. Why is that important? Most states have mandatory insurance requirements. The problem with that is most of the state mandatory insurance limits are extremely low. Here in the state of Maryland, it's $30,000 per person, $60,000 per accident. Those are very low limits of liability. And the property damage is $15,000. So as a prime example, you get hit by somebody who has a policy with those low limits. They hurt you really bad. They total your car, you're in shock trauma, you can't work for 2 weeks or a month, a lot of expensive medical bills, etc. The carrier that has that policy is more likely going to be cutting a check for $30,000, or if there's more than one person in the car, $60,000. They're going to walk away and be done. Then all the insurance is going to fall on your insurance, and that's why it's so important to have good limits on your auto policy. Folks tend to always look at price and don't really think about knowing exactly what these coverages are covering. And that's why I'm going over this. This is extremely important, because then what would happen is your policy would then respond. And what that response would be, your $250,000 per person, $500,000 limits would then kick in. So based upon what you do for a living, type of work you do, if you couldn't work for a while, a lot of things you have to factor in when you look at your limits of liability for your auto insurance. And you kind of have to look after yourself and your family when you're going through the insurance purchasing process and understanding what you're buying, because if you're a high net earner and you get hit by somebody and you can't work for a month, or you're a business owner and you can't work for 6 months, that's a financial consequence to you and your family. And where is that money going to come from? And from a liability standpoint, $250,000, $500,000 might not be enough. You can actually go as high in some companies up to $1 million on your basic auto policy. Some companies actually sell an umbrella policy that will drop down and actually give you an extra $1 million worth of coverage. So it's really important that you protect you and your family. These coverage limits are there for people who don't have insurance and they hit you, people who have low limits of insurance and they hit you. A lot of times I tell my clients it's so important. I mean, I'm not as worried about you hurting others, although we need to have good limits for that too. But a lot of the big claims happen when somebody else hits you, and they're not as, they're buying the bare minimums. They're trying to be as cheap, or they've had really bad driving history and they can only afford state minimum limits because they've had many accidents, some DUIs. Many tickets, and those are the folks that have the low limits, unfortunately, and they can hurt us. And so having good coverage to protect yourself is so important. So if you have questions about this, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're happy to walk you through this. We're happy to give you additional quotes on higher limits, and maybe just do an entire review of your policy. But again, that's what uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage is. Hopefully this gives you a better idea and picture of how important this coverage is, and look forward to posting some more videos in the future, and thanks for listening. Have a great day.